Hello everyone and welcome to episode 2 of my Warhammer journey. First of all, thank you so much to everyone who tuned in and subscribed after that first video. I have never experienced anything like that before and the comments were just next level, so thank you so much to anyone who took the time to watch and to write me some advice in the comment section. That was awesome. Honestly, your advice was incredible, and some of you even said that the best advice you had for me when collecting Warhammer was don't save your money. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. It's been a great series. But yeah, you all understood that I am a beginner and it's never going to be perfect. And to be honest, that's not the priority for me anyway. The main thing I want from this hobby is just to have fun and escape reality for a little bit. That is the goal. And hopefully you guys watching, it might remind you of what it was like when you first started the hobby. And some of you are even starting the journey with me. So when I make these mistakes, let's naturally learn from them together. That was the other thing. I got some comments from you guys saying that you were going to be collecting now after watching my video. And that nearly made me cry. It made me really emotional. I just felt so honoured that you're choosing to do this with me. So let's have a really good go at this, and hopefully in a few years' time, we'll look back at what we've created today or around this time and think, yeah, we've come a long way since then. On today's episode, I am going to be painting the third figure from our starter set, and the goal is to hopefully see some minor improvements on the last one that I painted. Right, first things first, mould lines. Now, I had no idea what these were in the first episode. I do know now, however, I am actually going to leave them on this figure, despite now owning a tool to get rid of them, just because I'm just going to stay true to myself, to be honest. When I got this starter box, I didn't know about mould lines, and ideally I would have got rid of them before putting the undercoat on, because what's going to happen is I'll just end up scraping off the paint. So for now, I'm just going to look back at these figures and think, oh yeah, I didn't know about mould lines back then, so that's absolutely fine. Going forward, we'll see an improvement now. We'll look at all my new figures and think, yep, no mould lines on them. Also, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I can't be bothered. I genuinely can't. And like I said at the beginning of the video, the whole point is having fun. And right now, my idea of fun is not scraping mould lines off a figure. I just want to get into painting, so let's do that. But in all seriousness, I will be getting rid of mould lines in the future. They're actually not that bad on this figure, and if I didn't know what they were, I wouldn't even notice them. Getting into the painting now, and in my last video, I am convinced I made things as hard as humanly possible for myself. I think I did everything backwards. So this time, I'm going to paint from the inside out, and what I mean by that is, I'm going to go for the skin first, out towards the armour, out towards the weapons and everything else. This way I'm not going to be going past things I've already painted with a wet paintbrush and making mistakes all over it. And for those of you who are starting this hobby with me, it is completely normal to keep making mistakes and just touching it up. Me and Eve, when we painted these first figures, I'd touch up a bit of skin because I got some armour on it. Then I'd accidentally get skin colour on the armour, so I'd touch that up again. In the process, I'd get more armour colour on his skin, and it was back and forth, back and forth. Don't worry, that is completely normal, and if that's happening to you, I promise you, it happened to me too, and we probably spent about half an hour just touching things up again. And weirdly, I look back on those moments quite fondly, and that's what this hobby is about. I want to enjoy those little moments like that. Right, so starting with the skin now, guys, and I wish the production was better for you guys. I mean, ideally, I would have 2 cameras, maybe one showing my face and then maybe one a bit closer on the painting that I'm doing. But unfortunately, it's early days in the channel. So I don't have that right now, but one day I will. Now, I'm not being too precious about this at the moment. I'm just sort of gonna lather it on because I will be able to touch up the bits that I make mistakes on. For example, if I get some green on his armour, I'm painting that armour in a minute anyway. So right now, it doesn't matter too much. That being said, it's probably always good practice to be as neat as you can, isn't it? This is when I watch it back, isn't it? And I realise I probably pull the most ridiculous concentration faces that I never knew about my entire life. I'll be editing and my face would be like this. For those of you who are beginners with me, it's completely normal for this first layer to look patchy as hell. Don't be tempted to paint over it straight away. Let it dry and then layer it up. That's what I was taught anyway. Okay, so for now, I think we have finished the skin, and that is about as much of a close-up as you guys are going to get, because I have royally botched it in some places, but that's absolutely fine and completely normal. We're about to go over with some brown now anyway. Apparently, it's always important to give your paints a little shake if they've been stood still for a while. I'm still none the wiser of how much you're meant to water these paints down. I think it completely depends on what you're doing and what the paint actually is, but I've not really learnt that yet. I think it's a lot of trial and error, isn't it? And considering this is my second figure, I've not got a lot of trial and error on my side just yet. This is where I'm already getting paranoid about getting brown on the skin. I'm going to be honest with all of you. I've had 3 coffees today. My hand is like this. I wouldn't normally have 3. That's quite excessive for me, personally. But every house I went into today that I photographed, I got offered a drink. And I just feel rude saying no. And when they say coffee straight away, I hear the words coffee and I'm like, yes please. Just got some brown on the ear. I mean, the ear couldn't be smaller. So how I've managed to do that, it's actually probably harder to get brown on the ear than not. So in many ways I should be applauded for how crap I am at this. Honestly, I am absolutely loving this. I can't tell you how therapeutic it is just to sit here, listen to some nice music, maybe even a podcast, and just escape. It's so nice. Like, all my mind has thought about recently is this figure, nothing else. That is literally it. It's like a form of meditation. Couldn't recommend it more to people who want to just escape for a little bit. Okay, so as you can see, I am more or less done with the green and the browns now, and it has been so much fun. I've still got a little bit of touching up left to do. You know, I've got brown in places that I shouldn't have, but that's really not the end of the world, and I'm looking forward to neating it all up a bit. After that, we've not got a lot left to do. We've just got the shield, the armour, the spear, the base, and then the shader at the end. So actually, yeah, we've actually got quite a lot left to do. But I'm going to pause it there for now because Eve is coming round and I am desperate to cook us some nice, delicious dinner. So I'm going to carry this on in a few days' time. But for you, it will be the exact same video and the same day. That's how videos work. I don't know why I'm telling you that. Hello everyone, it is now a few days later. It's Saturday morning, it's a beautiful day, and I'm about to carry on painting this Warhammer figure. Anyone who was in the live stream last night, you will know how excited I am to carry this on. I've been thinking about it non-stop. I'm actually going to start with the shield this morning because there are silver parts on the shield that I'm going to need to, add on after the red. And we've got silver to do on the spearhead and the armour and the shin pads as well. So it makes sense to do the red first and then put silver on everything else that I need to do as well. So that is the plan of action for now. So let's get set up. How is everyone? I like how I'm addressing you guys as if loads of time has gone by. For you guys, about 2.5 minutes would have gone by. But for me, it's been a couple of days. This morning, I've been out for a run. I did an 11-kilometre run and I did it in 56 minutes and I hit 10k at 49 minutes, which apparently is a PB for me according to my Strava. So that was good. I've also got the Olympics on in the background. Has anyone been watching that and catching up with it? I've been really enjoying it. Every single sport has been so much fun to watch. If you remember the last video, I'm pretty damn keen on this shield looking a hell of a lot better than my last shield did. Mine looked so bad, it was so clumpy. I don't think I watered down the paint enough, or perhaps I just kept whacking too much paint on. So I'm going to try and evenly spread it out here as much as I can. I've just looked up and I'm so hunched over, I'm like, I'm going to get this up my nose in a minute. Like I said, I am so sorry that the production's not better for this. It will be one day, I promise you. I'm going to work so hard on this YouTube channel, and I promise the production will get better and better. I'm very lucky in the sense that you guys keep telling me it's not about that. It's, oh no, I just got some red on the arm. It's fine, I need to go back and touch things up anyway. Kind of looks like he's been slashed. Maybe it's a war wound, who knows. Anyway, I'm very lucky in the sense that you guys keep telling me that, you know, it's me, not the production, which obviously just massively fills me with confidence. But at the same time, I want this to be nice for you guys to look at, the channel and this figure. Cool. First layer done. I'm going to wait for that to dry, and in the meantime, I'm going to put on some music. Swim Deep, one of my old favourite bands. My dad got this signed for me at one of their gigs about 10 years ago now, probably. But I've seen them a few times, I've met them a few times, and I've even got a Swim Deep tattoo somewhere under there. Right, I have now finished the red on this shield, and I must say, I think this is looking so much better than the last figure I did. I reckon just thinning out that paint a little bit more has just created a much smoother finish. I'm really, really chuffed with that, and like I said earlier, or actually I don't know if I said it earlier or not, but the whole goal of this video is to hopefully see some improvements on the last figure I did, because end of the day, that's the only person I'm going to compare myself to. It's the previous me, because I'm new to this, I'm not a good painter, so as long as I'm a little bit better than the last time, then I'll be so happy. Okay guys, I am just putting the first layer of this metallic paint on the spearhead here. And also, I have spotted there seems to be a chunk on the shield that looks like it's going to need a metallic paint over the top of it. This particular Auroch seems to have pimped up his shield a little bit, put like a metal plate on it, so that's going to be really fun to paint. On top of that, I really want to paint all the little screws on it, just those little fine details. I think that will look really, really cool. And I'm considering painting the eyes a different colour as well, but I'll fill you in on that later on down the line. I do think just painting these details will really make this shield pop though, way more than if I just left it red. So I'm giving myself kudos for trying, but who knows what the final outcome's going to look like. Hopefully it will look okay. I am just doing the final bit of touching up now, which is really exciting because we are coming towards the end of this figure, which is super exciting but kind of sad at the same time, not going to lie to you. So I'm just doing a few bits on the shield. I've done the rest of the figure. There wasn't actually too much touching up to do, which is very surprising because at the time I felt like I was getting bloody paint everywhere, but I've gone over it a lot and I can't see anything else. Just going over a few bits of the red now, because I'm not going to lie guys, just when I was speaking to you there, I accidentally splashed some silver onto the red. Honestly, sometimes it's back and forth between the paints, but eventually you just sort of have to accept what it looks like and move on from there. But it's getting towards a standard now that I'm really happy, and it will soon be time to put our Earthshade on, which in itself, I think I'm going to go way lighter on it this time. I think I caped the figure in it way too much on the last one we did. So I'm going to try and keep it a little bit more of a cleaner look. But as I said in the last video, I do want these guys to look nitty and gritty and like they've been through hell and back. So I'm going to bear that in mind when applying it. Okay, so I have got the figure to a standard that I'm okay with. I'm not going to say that I'm happy with, because I'll probably never be completely happy with a figure. I am a perfectionist, but I need to let that go. I need to remind myself I'm a beginner. It's okay. And to be honest, I'm quite happy with what I've done. I really am. It's so much better, I think, than the last figure I did, and that was always the goal. It is hard though, guys, because the more you look at it, the more you start to notice, and the imperfections to start to scream out at you. But like I said, you do have to let go and just crack on, and this Earthshade does do a really lovely job in finishing off the figure, and hopefully, fingers crossed, the imperfections won't seem so obvious. So I think my approach with this is a little goes a long way. I'm going to go for a small amount to begin with, and then we'll see what it ends up looking like, because I can always add more. I'm not sure it would be so easy to take it away. I mean, I can always brush it in a little bit more if I think it's too thick in some places. I think as long as it's still wet, I should be able to brush it and move it aside to other parts of the figure. Yeah, straight away I'm like, that's too much. By the way, I gave everything a really, really good wash, so we're working with clean equipment. The last thing you want is bits of paint that's still on your brush ruining the effect of your figure. Just trying to spread it as evenly as I can across the figure, and perhaps leaving a little bit more in places where you would expect to see grime and dirt and blood. I think looking back at my last figure, and it's quite cool that I'm already doing that, it shows I might be learning just a little bit. I think I put too much on and it just made the figure look darker, and you know, the colours weren't popping as much as I'd like them to. But I mean, at the time, I thought it looked bloody awesome, and that is only the last video, so God knows what I'm going to be like in a few years' time. So I ended up, I don't know if you guys do this or is it, or if this is normal or not, but some of the imperfections that I could see, you know, like a little bit of brown on the leg or just the tiniest bit of green on the brown, I would just put a little bit more Earthshade there just to look like it's a build up of like rust and mud, and it's done a really good job in hiding the imperfections. And to be honest, guys, and you know I don't like to blow my own trumpet a lot because I am very self-deprecating, but I'm really actually quite happy with how it looks, to be honest with you. I've definitely gone for the more subtle approach. I think it's a lot lighter than the last figure, to be honest, and that's quite nice because I can see a lot more of the details than I could before. And like I said a minute ago, I thought that figure was like pretty good for my first attempt, and it still is really good for my first attempt. But I'm pleased to see there is a little bit of progression, like nothing major. You'd still look at them both and look and look at them next to each other and think, yeah, the same guy painted that, he's terrible, he's just started. But I do think there is a slight improvement. So yeah, excitingly, that is the figure finished. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of work on the base, of the actual base of the figure, once it's dried. I don't want to start smudging things with my fingerprints. And then I'll show you guys the final product. As you can probably tell by the clear table, guys, I am all finished. I am done, and I am just taking the time to actually have a good look and appreciate what I have created today. I am really proud of this. You get such a good sense of achievement when you've finished something like this. I created this morning. How cool is that? I'm really, really happy. In my opinion, and I'm no expert, I can definitely see improvements on the last figure we did, and that was the whole goal today. I just wanted to see a little bit of improvement. I really did take my time and put a lot of love and care into this guy, and he may not be the most amazing figure you're going to see on YouTube, but I really did try my best, and it's only the second one I've ever done. So since you last saw him, I customised the base just a little bit. I painted the rim of it brown, and then I added the mud paint on top. Let's just compare the two figures from our series so far. So we've got last episode's and we've got today's. First of all, I really feel like putting less of that Earthshade on, or spreading it out a little bit better this time, has made a huge difference. I still have that final nitty gritty I've been to battle look that I wanted it, but this time it's far more subtle and the colours are still allowed to pop. Whereas the last one now, if you put them next to each other, it looks a bit washed out, it looks a bit too grubby. But that's fine, I really don't mind that at all, and I'm not bashing myself from the last episode. It's really nice just to see myself learning as this progresses. Also, I think I just underestimated how much of a good finishing touch it would be completing the base of the figure. Even just that brown rim and a little bit of mud on top has really completed the look. Just having these figures side by side has been really nice for me to see, you know, the minor improvements that I've made. Maybe even subconsciously I've taken on a lot of your advice that you gave me in the last video as well. But to be honest guys, I have ticked the 2 boxes that I wanted from this video. Firstly, I've had so much fun and I have just literally escaped planet Earth for an entire morning. I have just been in my own little world, loving life painting. It's just been the best form of escapism. I have loved it. Second of all, I can see a slight improvement on the last figure we did. And when you're entering a hobby, obviously the priority is to have fun, like I just said, but at least I can also see some signs of encouragement and some minor improvements on the last one we did. So with that in mind, I think this is a lovely, lovely place to round off the video. Thank you all for joining me today. There will be more videos coming like this in the future. I'm sorry that you have to wait so long between them all. I'm juggling a lot of things on the channel, and content like this does take a little bit longer to make because, of course, I'm buying the figure, I'm building the figure, I'm painting the figure, and I'm filming it in the process whilst trying to have fun with it, because the last thing I want is to get bogged down in filming and that take away the experience I'm having with the Warhammer. But this whole experience, filming and painting today, oh, it's been perfect. I've had an amazing time and I hope that comes across in the video. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all soon and look after yourselves. All the best. What a weird outro. Screw it.